Hi, my name's Jess, and I spent this trimester interning with Minister Scanlon, an MP located in Gavin on the Gold Coast. She is the Minister for Housing and Local Government Planning and Public Works. Um, and overall, just to start off with, it was a fantastic experience, and I had so much fun learning about politics and how it's actually applied on the ground. Obviously, being a student, I am learning a lot about theory and the academia behind politics and political science, but actually seeing what it's like being applied at Minister Scanlon's office and the way that she works and the way that her electorate and her ministerial officers work together has just been a fantastic opportunity. So thank you to my supervisors and yeah, just for letting me have this opportunity. So getting into the video and the questions needing to be asked, my internship was located predominantly at Minister Scanlon's electorate office, which was located in Nerang. Um, and I also spent quite a bit of time at Parliament House in Brisbane if Parliament was sitting. I'll say that we spent a lot of time at the electorate office in Nerang, but this also meant that we were travelling to constituent sites, housing sites. We did pop-up offices. We did door knocking. I spent some time in the office doing administrative tasks and calls to constituents and things like that, especially after the storms over Christmas. Um, and because it was being Christmas, there were a lot of Christmas parties towards the end of the year, and it was fantastic to see the difference, I guess, with how Minister Scanlon works with her constituents and maintains her presence in her electorate versus the way that she is at Parliament House and how the difference in just her persona and things like that. Obviously, Parliament House was quite intimidating for me as a student, but I loved question time. I loved meeting the ministers and things like that. I met Premier Stephen Miles before he was Premier, and obviously there was a bit of a shake up in Parliament. Um, but yeah, like just that's where I work. Answering question one, that's where I work. I worked 1 day a week for the 12 weeks of the trimester, and it was a different week depending on what was available for me to attend. Obviously, Parliament sits Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on the days I was at Parliament House, that's when I would work. Thursdays were electorate office days, so I worked a lot of those. And Minister Scanlon had some time off over Christmas, so I was able to come in at a time that was suitable for me, which was fantastic. I worked obviously mostly with Minister Scanlon's electorate staff, but also with her ministerial staff. And it was interesting learning about, I guess, the push pull of needs from the electorate staff and from the ministerial staff. So having a portfolio and being a minister, there's this constant need to work quite closely with her policy advisors and things like that in Brisbane, but also there's the constant need to work quite closely with your constituents who are calling in and visiting the office and things like that. So it was interesting to see the push pull between those two things and how Minister Scanlon managed those and what each of those look like on the ground running. So the electorate office was a lot more laid back, and obviously being in Parliament House and working with the ministerial staff, it was quite, you dress much more professionally and much more corporate, and it was a lot more nerve wracking. So my main task during the internship, there was no main task. It was really broad, lots of administrative stuff, especially over Christmas when it was quiet. But I attended so many different events. I met so many different people. But by far my favourite was Parliament House, which allowed me to touch on my learning goals. So learning my political terminology and networking, which was really important to me out of this. Um, a personal strength that was improved during my experience, I think, was my self confidence. Definitely, it was quite nerve wracking at the beginning, but I felt like a bit of an old hand at the end at Parliament House. I even was able to make my way through without needing a guide by the end, so I was quite impressed with myself. And being able to network with people and talk to people about their career goals and how they got to where they were, I wouldn't have been able to do that without this internship. Um, and yes, there is an opportunity for me within this organisation and industry in the future. I have been told I can, come back in a couple of months when I'm finished my degree, and they'll have a chat with me about what they can do for me in the future, which is really exciting. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I could not be more appreciative. And I really think I kicked my learning goals out of the park. It was great. Thank you.